Know that some of you are fools.
They will bring
the question to you like this and show you that it has leaked. And the Spirit of God will not minister to you that is a revelation that has come. The pastor of that young girl, I know him. He knows me. Say wisdom is profitable to direct.
So
the little girl came to me and said, Daddy, is exam malpractice still a sin? Then I asked her, what did you call it? Malpractice. So pick a dictionary. When a practice becomes mal. He said, no, I was confused because that is what my pastor said. May the Lord deliver the 21st century church from strange altars. And I thought you will say that amen properly. How do you make your flock to rest at this noon? The times are evil. He said the only way is to get them rooted in the footsteps of the flocks that have gone ahead. Men that stood and stood firm. Men that are displeased about the current happenings. And so that is the number one matter this morning. That we must keep steps with the flocks that have gone ahead. Let us look at the rising of men of old. The beauty of quietness. The beauty of solitude. Running away from undue announcement. So that you can get into the secret place. Let me say this to you. Because we were taught. Because we were taught the beauty of seeking the face of God. Some years ago, as a young man, I was elected the president of a fellowship in my university. And I wept till daybreak. And I said to the Lord, even if these people do not know that I cannot, at least you know that I can't do this thing. And I cried and cried till daybreak. And I kept praying sincerely in my spirit that something will change along the line. Then a few years down the line, I was back as a university lecturer. And more like a patron to the same fellowship. And I see that the day they are announcing leaders, they will mention somebody's name and he will do like this. And they will go and carry him. And they will bring him. And he will be smiling molar to molar. Like someone who won lottery. See, I remember that I wept that day. And I say, God, leave me alone so that the account I will give you will be of my own life alone, not of these people. I'm struggling over how I will give account of myself.
You
are giving me responsibility to give account of these people. Have mercy on me. Have mercy on me. And it was a matter of weeping. Before election, one young man came and met me. He said, you know, the leadership, the way it is now, it is tilting towards us. And I was like, is this fellow serious? He said, the reason why I've come to tell you is because there are some forces and people sponsored by Satan that does not want it to come to us. And I said, okay, so what do you want me to do? He said, since you know my capacity, I want you to be used of the Lord to stand for us. Then I asked him, I said, bro, you are politicking over a holy office. He said, no, it is not politics. It is not politics. What is it? He said, no, I just want you to stand and fight for righteousness. So that the Lord will give us this thing. And I said to him, do you remember Saul? The first king of Israel, who was chosen from the last tribe of Israel. He saw himself unworthy. Even though by stature there was no one like him in the whole of Israel. You remember how he hid himself? He said, yes, I remember. I said, so what has happened to you? Early 2019, I had preached for 3 days in a church in Abuja. And the Sunday, the final day, I had finished preaching. We did ministration, and I was sitting on the altar when the pastor tapped me to come quickly into the vestry that there was somebody we should pray for. So we all rushed to the church office. And the person was lying down between life and death, unconscious. So we rushed and we started praying. And while we were praying, I heard the voice of the Lord speak to me. He said, why didn't you ask before you started praying? I said, what will I ask again, sir? He said, leave this matter, go back. This man will die, he's under judgment. So immediately I pulled back. And then I said to Pastor, I said, Daddy, I will not continue to pray here. I'm going to church. He said, why? I said, this man is under judgment. But it is for you alone. I will not pray. I'm going. Then he paused a while. So he went there and he started laying hands and praying. Me, I went away. See, please, I beg you, ask question. Ask question. It is not every mountain that is meant to be confronted by you. Ask question. So I went, I carried my Bible, I entered my car. And I drove off. The next day, on Monday, at about 3 p.m., the pastor called me and said the man died yesterday. He said, thank you, sir. You see, it was when the man died that the real story emerged. He attends one of the Orthodox churches around. And they said they were fighting for who will become church chairman in that Orthodox church. He traveled to his own village, got something and killed his opponent. And when he brought that thing, his wife kept telling him, he said, this thing you are doing is not good. This thing you are doing is not good. This thing you are doing is not good. He slapped the wife. And went ahead to harm that man. Immediately the man died. He was making a phone call to the Baba that gave him whatever they gave to him, to announce to that Baba that it has worked. Still in his house. It was that call he never recovered from. He collapsed. It was from that call and collapse they rushed him to church. Not that he attends that church. And there we were laying hands on him, casting out hypothetical demons. Listen to me and listen to me very, very well. Something has happened to the church. Tussle over leadership. Somebody is killing another person in church. You are struggling to serve. Now, listen to me and listen to me very well. It is not the culture of our kingdom. Look at the footsteps of men that went ahead. When responsibility comes, they hide. They are men of the secret place. A lot of them, it is from those secret places that heaven himself announces them. But you don't want to hide. And we are back to the point of politicking in church. Oh, look at me. Oh, look at my qualities. In fact, you start positioning yourself strategically, so that when the time comes, there will be no other alternative but you. Somebody say, help me, Lord. Help me, Lord. As we speak about this, I should speak about displeasure. Displeasure. Displeasure with what we see. Displeasure with the status quo. Displeasure with the things around. It is a major thing in our routine. You see, somewhere we were taught that when things are not going how they ought to go, we should be displeased. You remember in the book of 2 Kings chapter 6 from verse 1, the sons of the prophets were the ones that went to their master. They said, the place wherein we dwell with thee is too straight for us. This place is too straight for us. It was not the responsibility of their master to announce that the place was straight. It was their own responsibility to tell him that the place was straight. The place we dwell with you is too straight for us. And listen to me. They were not the first generation of the sons of the prophets. Generations had come before that time who probably did not see anything anything strange about the straight place.
Mama li endu kitabo jikpa ugbo kichekpa mai.
And as long as you don't see anything strange with where you are, you will not fight it.
Ila chenki ema li endu kitabo jikpa ugbo keden kobon.
And you remember that some of them even thought that it was spiritual to be in the straight place.
Eleli kaki chekibo mama neni kakini enwe fafu iche torukuma ugbo kichekpa male.
They say, how can you be son of the prophet and you are living in a large place?